Welcome, everyone, to a brand new deep dive. Today, we're really getting into some fascinating ideas.
We are indeed. We're looking at Neville Goddard, specifically a 1969 lecture called The Creator. It was transcribed from a talk he gave on May 25th.
Right, the creator. And our goal here, our sort of mission for this hour, is to unpack what Goddard meant by that, the nature of this creator.
And crucially, what it all means practically.
Mm-hmm.
For you, listening. How can you actually use these ideas?
Exactly. Goddard himself called it a practical and yet a very spiritual hour, so that's what we're aiming for.
And he kicks things off, interestingly, with a quote from Paul's letter to the Romans.
Oh, yeah. Which part?
It's the line, "All the invisible things of God are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made."
Okay, so looking at the visible world, the stuff around us, to understand the invisible source, is that the idea?
That's pretty much it. Like the created things point back to the Creator.
Which leads straight into a question Goddard asks, and it's one for you listening right now.
Yeah, he wants you to think back. Look around you first, then remember a time you really truly desired something.
Something that wasn't there yet in your world, in your reality. What was it? And crucially, how did it eventually, show up?
What was that process? Because at that personal reflection, that memory,
Yeah.
that's the jumping off point.
For his whole argument, right, because he doesn't point outwards.
No, not to some distant God or external power. He says the Creator is much, much closer.
Right here. He actually says, and this is a direct quote, "If you can remember, you have found the Creator to be your own wonderful human imagination."
Wow. Straight up,
Yeah.
your imagination.
And then he asks, could that be God? It puts the power squarely, well, in our own minds, doesn't it?
It really does. So the big takeaway here for you is that your imagination, it's not just daydreaming.
No, it's presented as the actual engine, creating your reality. Every single thing you experience, good or bad, starts there, inside you.
And then he links it back to Paul again, the next verse. Although they knew God, they did not honor him as God.
Okay, so how does that connect?
Well, Goddard asks, essentially, now that you're seeing this link, maybe, between what you imagine and what happens, do you actually honor your imagination as that power?
Or do you just dismiss it? Do you credit, I don't know, luck or other people, circumstances?
Exactly. Do you look outside for the cause? He warns directly against worshiping the thing created instead of the Creator.
The created thing being what? Other people, money, events.
Yeah, anything external that you might point to as the real reason something happened, instead of tracing it back to your own imaginal act, like, say, mortal man, birds, animals, reptiles. Those were his examples of created things people might wrongly focus on.
So attributing your success or even your failures to purely external stuff.
Goddard calls that giving up the truth about God for a lie. Strong words.
Definitely. It's like focusing on the movie screen instead of the projector, right?
That's a great analogy. The power's in the projector, your imagination, not just the image playing out.
He really pushes us further than just, acknowledging thoughts are powerful. He says something like,
Yeah, I have it here. Do not continue to simply acknowledge that your thoughts create your reality, but accept those thoughts for what they are, and that is God in action.
God in action. Not just influential thoughts, but the divine creative force itself working through your imagination.
And it makes a clear distinction that man, that's us, is God's image, the created.
The reflection, the outcome.
Right, and not your imagination, the creator. So we're the expression, not the source itself.
Like the painting, not the painter.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's dig into this creation process more. He uses the Bible again, right? Genesis?
He does. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, a very familiar line.
But how does he read it, given his focus on imagination?
Well, for Goddard, heaven isn't up there somewhere. It's within. It's your imagination.
Because the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Exactly. That inner realm where God, this creative power, dwells. And earth. That's the outer world.
The physical manifestation,
The
the
ser-
result.
Right. The tangible stuff that comes from what you first imagine or conceive inwardly. So your inner world, your heaven, shapes your outer world, your earth.
Okay, so if God, this creator, is inside, in heaven, how does stuff get from there to here, to the earth? What makes it happen?
Motion. That's the key for Goddard. He quotes the next part. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
Moved. Motion.
He really stresses that motion is the cause. Without that inner movement, nothing changes. Nothing gets created or brought forth.
And this movement, it's not physical movement initially.
No, it's the activity of imagination. The act of imagining itself is the motion.
Okay, but how do you know if you've moved? In your imagination, I mean. How do you detect that kind of inner shift?
Good question. God explains it like any motion.
Yeah.
You detect it relative to something fixed. There has to be a change in perspective.
So for us, the question becomes, how do you move mentally from where you are now, your current situation?
To the situation you desire, the state you want to be in. What would feel different? What would you perceive from that new vantage point?
He gives an example, right? Traveling mentally.
A very practical one.
Yeah.
He says, okay, picture yourself right now. Maybe you're in Los Angeles listening.
Yeah.
Now, in your mind, travel to Union Square in San Francisco.
Okay.
Really see it. See the St. Francis Hotel. Imagine walking down Market Street. Feel that you are there and that LA is now conceptually hundreds of miles south.
So you're engaging your senses in the imagined place.
Exactly. For you listening, it means vividly picturing your goal as already achieved. Feel it, sense it. Don't just think about it. Think from it.
He makes a strong point. If you're vividly seeing San Francisco landmarks and feeling LA is far away, aren't you in consciousness in San Francisco right then?
That's his argument. Your mental focus determines your psychological location.
But there's a catch, isn't there? You can't be in two places at once, mentally speaking.
Precisely. He warns against being double-minded. He quotes James again. He is nothing more than a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind.
Meaning, if you want to be in San Francisco, you can't keep feeling like you're still stuck in LA in your imagination.
You have to choose. You need that single-minded focus in the desired state.
So how do you make that mental shift really stick? What's a practical technique?
Goddard offers a powerful one. Falling asleep in the state wished fulfilled.
Ah, okay. So using the same example.
Right. You're physically in LA, but as you're drifting off to sleep, you intensely imagine and feel that you are now in San Francisco. You feel the reality of being there, with LA far away.
He says something like, I must sleep this night as though I were already there.
Yes. That immersion, just before sleep, impresses it on the subconscious. It's a potent kind of imaginal motion.
And he lived this stuff. He shares that story about wanting to go to Barbados, right?
He does, a classic Neville story. He was in New York, really wanted to go home to Barbados, but had no money for the trip.
So what did he do? Physically?
Nothing physical. He just, night after night, imagined he was in Barbados. He felt the Caribbean atmosphere, mentally placed New York thousands of miles north. Purely internal.
And then what happened? This is the amazing part.
Out of the blue, his brother in Barbados suddenly felt this strong urge to send Neville money for the trip.
Without even being asked?
Nope. The brother wrote, basically inventing reasons why Neville should come, sent a draft for expenses, even arranged the steamship ticket. It just happened. Like the universe rearranged itself.
Which leads back to Goddard's core question, echoing Paul. Okay, who gets the credit here?
Right. Are you going to thank your brother, the external agent? Or are you going to honor your own imagination, the inner cause, God within you?
It really underscored that inner assumption comes first and directs the outer events, even if they look like they have other causes.
And this brings us right to the heart of it. The law of assumption.
Which Goddard states pretty bluntly.
Extremely bluntly. Nothing has ever happened to you that you did not set in motion in your imagination.
Wow. That's a massive statement about responsibility. Everything.
Everything, according to him. Whether you did it consciously or unconsciously, the law, simply put, is that what you assume and feel to be true, persistently.
Even if your senses deny it right now.
That assumption, if persisted in, hardens into fact. It becomes your reality.
So it's not just wishing, it's assuming, feeling it real now.
Exactly. And the desire has to be genuine. And you need faithfulness. You can't just imagine it once and then revert back to doubt and lack 5 minutes later.
That's the double-mindedness again.
Right. As James says, that person will not receive anything from the Lord. You have to stay loyal to your assumption.
He uses a business example, doesn't he? Like wanting success even if you're currently in debt.
Yes. He says it doesn't matter what the current facts look like. If you consistently assume the feeling of being successful, if you live mentally from that state of success,
Despite the bills piling up or whatever.
you cannot ultimately fail. Persistence in the assumption is key. He claims this is the law everyone operates under, knowingly or not.
Okay, and he also talks a lot about I am. What's the significance there?
It's profound for Goddard. He says, quote, when you say, I am, that's God.
That's God. How?
He explains that when you assume a new state, say, I am wealthy, when you currently feel poor, and you ask yourself, who is imagining this, who is wealthy? The answer that resonates within is, I am.
Ah, so in that act of claiming the state with I am, You're identifying with the creative power. You're speaking God's name, in a sense.
That's exactly his interpretation. You are claiming your divine identity as that state.
Which implies we have this power within us to just change our attitude, change our inner state.
Without needing anyone's permission, yes. And crucially, the state your thoughts habitually return to, your dominant feeling.
That becomes your mental home, so to speak.
Your dwelling place, yes.
Yeah.
And your outer world has no choice but to eventually mirror that inner home. Your constant assumptions are the blueprint.
So the outside really is just a mirror.
Always reflecting your dominant inner assumptions. And this lets you see your own harvest, the results of your past imaginal acts. But then he warns about the lie.
What's the lie in this context?
The lie is when something you desired manifests, maybe through another person or an event, and you give them the credit.
Instead of your own imagination.
Exactly. You're exchanging the immortal God, who is your own wonderful human imagination, for an image of a mortal man or some external circumstance.
Like if you inherit money, you might think, oh, Aunt Mildred left me this money.
Right. But Goddard would say Aunt Mildred was simply the channel, the memes. The real cause was your prior assumption of abundance or security, which compelled events, including Aunt Mildred's actions, to bring it about.
He tells a story about his brother Victor, doesn't he? About wealth.
Yes. Victor intensely desired wealth, believing money was power. He cultivated this feeling, this assumption. This led him to befriend someone who eventually left him a fortune.
So the assumption attracted the opportunity and the person.
That's Goddard's point. But he stresses, don't forget the initial cause, Victor's own consuming desire and assumption. Don't just focus on the person who delivered the money.
This idea of giving up the old state seems critical too. You can't cling to both.
Absolutely essential. He says that is the only price you pay. No sacrifice is required outside of giving up the state in which you find yourself and moving into the state where you want to be, for they are only states.
Just mental frameworks, you choose which one to live in?
Exactly. You have to mentally let go of the old identity, the old limitations, to fully embody the new one.
He also gives a really practical technique involving imagining congratulations.
Yes, a very effective one for many people. He suggests you vividly imagine a specific friend, someone who would be genuinely happy for you.
Okay.
And you hear them congratulating you on already having achieved your desire. You feel their sincerity, maybe even feel a handshake or a hug.
What's the power in that?
The implication. If they're congratulating you, it must have already happened. It forces your imagination into the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
So you're experiencing the end result subjectively right now, accepting the congrats as fact and imagination.
Precisely. And then Goddard says, you just drop it. You go about your business, carrying that inner knowing. When you think of that friend, you remember, oh yeah, they know my good news.
You trust that the inner reality you created will project outwards.
And when the actual physical congratulations come, it's just confirmation of what you already accepted inside.
He connects this to another Bible verse too, doesn't he? Romans 4:17.
He does. God calls things that are not seen as though they were seen, and the unseen becomes seen.
And how does that relate to imagination?
He says that calling happens through the act of movement in imagination. When you mentally move into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are calling that unseen reality.
Making it seem real inside yourself first.
Yes, like vividly seeing a friend's face shining with joy because, in your imagination, their desire has been fulfilled for them. You're calling forth that reality for them.
And the key, again, is
persistence. Keep dwelling in that new state until it feels completely natural, totally normal, until it's just how things are for you.
He shares some real stories, too, examples of this working.
Yeah, like his friend who started a restaurant in Oahu with almost no money.
But had the belief, the assumption.
A deep, unwavering assumption of success. Apply these principles, imagine the thriving business, and it happened. Though Goddard notes, the friend sometimes forgot the principle later, which is common.
The remembering and forgetting cycle.
Exactly. And he also shares a darker story about a woman terrified of violence.
She imagined it.
Repeatedly imagined fearful scenarios, confrontations, and eventually she manifested a situation where she had to defend herself with a knife.
Wow. So it works both ways. Positive and negative originate in imagination.
That's his start point.
Right.
Which brings him back to the core. Everything is possible to anyone who knows who he is.
Knows himself to be that imaginative power.
And honors it as God. Doesn't dismiss it or attribute the power elsewhere.
So honoring God in this framework really means honoring your own imagination.
Absolutely. It means ditching the idea of God as separate, outside, recognizing that your imagination is the source, capable of creating everything you experience.
Good and bad, joy and sorrow.
The whole drama of life, he says, is caused by this power God within man.
And the process itself, he makes it sound, well, simple, conceptually at least.
Deceptively simple, maybe. Identify what you truly want. Then move mentally. Shift your feeling and awareness into being the person who already has it.
It's all an internal shift.
Entirely mental motion. And if the desire is genuine and you persist in feeling it real,
It has to come out. It has to manifest.
according to this law, yes, it will externalize itself in your world.
He really pushes the listener then, doesn't he? A call to action.
Very much so. Take this seriously. Recognize the Creator in you. Don't be like those Paul mentioned who knew God but didn't honor him.
Because if you do honor it, if you control your imagination consciously.
Anything becomes possible.
Yeah.
And discovering this inner God, he says, changes your whole value system. You stop worshiping the created things.
The money, the status, the external events.
And you start valuing the Creator within. He talks about the thrill, the sheer joy of imagining good for someone else and then seeing it happen for them.
And underpinning all of this is trust, faith.
Unshakable trust in your imagination. He says, yeah, thank your friend for the good news when it comes, but your real thanks goes to God within your imagination that orchestrated it.
You just have to let it be so inside first.
Yes, implicitly trust that the imaginal act is the fact and reality will conform. It's not about being good enough or morally deserving.
It's about faith in the imaginal process itself.
Exactly, and trust that it will unfold, often in surprising ways you couldn't have planned.
So for anyone listening, the advice is don't get hung up on how it will happen, or if you're qualified.
No, focus on the desire itself. Is it genuine? Then just assume you are already the person who has it. Feel it now.
He even suggests you might be seen in your imagined state, right? Like his sister seeing him.
Yes, that incredible story where his sister in Barbados dreamt she saw him standing in her son's room precisely as Neville had been imagining himself being there from New York.
Which just reinforces his claim.
All things are possible, for you and God are one. Your consciousness, your imagination, is that one creative power.
So wrapping up, it comes back to that persistent mental movement, recognizing the change inside.
Yes, imagination, motion is essential. You have to consistently view your world from the perspective of your wish already being fulfilled.
And you know you've truly moved internally when
the outer world starts to change to reflect that inner shift. That's the confirmation.
And then you keep thinking from that new state.
Yes. Maybe use a friend as a mental reference point. How would they see me now that my desire is fulfilled? Keep living there mentally.
And his final promise on that is incredibly strong.
It is. He says basically, if you do, no power can stop it from coming into your world.
Powerful stuff indeed. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to chew on.
Go on.
Building on all this, just consider the implications if absolutely everything you currently experience, the good, the bad, the mundane, what if it all genuinely originated within your own awareness, your own imagination?
Well, yeah.
What kind of responsibility does that unlock? But also, what incredible potential does that give you to consciously create your life going forward?
That's a huge question to sit with. It really shifts everything, doesn't it?
It really does. We definitely encourage you to reflect on these ideas from Neville Goddard, explore them in your own life, and see what you discover about the power within you.